Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. This is a special 2 for Tuesday because what we're going to do is we are going to do 2 refurbishments in one video. What I have here are 2 Electrician's knife made by Klein Sons or Klein. And this tang stamp says Klein Tools, Chicago, Illinois, or Chicago, USA. And I'm just going to say I'm still researching these tang stamps and when they were made. It's pretty confusing on these Klein tools. So these are electrician's knives. Now this is our typical vintage electrician's knife, the TL29 pattern. You can see this tang stamp says M. Klein & Sons, Chicago, made in USA. So it's a different tang stamp. But this is your traditional, as I said, vintage electrician's knife TL29 pattern, which usually has a spear point blade and then a locking screwdriver blade there. These, however, are different in that they have the half-hawk blade, and instead of a screwdriver blade, they have this style of blade. And according to Jason, they came this way from the factory, and this was a wire stripping blade. So this is something unique, something I had not seen before. And it is a liner lock. It does lock in place there. So anyway, what I want to do with both of these knives, I want to get them all cleaned up. So we'll just look at the condition of that one. Got some rust in that on it. But overall, they're pretty good condition. They don't have a lot of walk and talk on them. We'll see if we can't get that rectified after soaking in some mineral oil later. And this one here, you can see there's no tang stamp on it. And it looks like it's been ground off. But then you see it stamped up here, it says second. So this was a factory second is what I am assuming. Half stop there. This one has a little better action to it. Well, you can hear that liner lock snap into place there. So let's give both of these knives a good cleanup. And I'm just going to start by soaking them in some rust remover. This is the WD-40 rust remover. And we're going to let them soak for about an hour or so. All right, so I let it soak in the rust remover, and I rinsed them off a little bit with some clean water and then wiped them off with a towel. And this is what our blades are looking like right now before we get started. I'm super pumped. This is going to be fun, being able to do basically 2 identical knives at the same time. So we're going to start cleaning these blades. I got my rubbing compound here, the number 7. And let's just get started. No more talking. Let's get down to business here. This is going to be fun, fun, fun. Oh yeah. Look at that. Nice. I'll just kind of show you what I'm doing here on the first run. Then I'll work on them more off camera. These videos tend to get pretty long. Look at how that cleans right up. Hit down that nail nick just a little bit. Flip her over. Cleaning right up, isn't she? Look at that. Taking all that dark black stuff off. This initial cleaning's doing a lot, isn't it? You look a whole lot better already. Blade number 1. Pretty nice. This is where we started on blade number 2. Now work on it. Okay, so here's our 2 blades. After an initial pass, you see quite a difference already. You see that second stamp really showing now, can't you? Alright, let's try our back springs here real quick. Before we start, big difference there already, isn't there? Okay, here's our back springs on this one, and I'll do this one off camera. Okay, I got the second one done here. Again, vast improvement. And I didn't spend a lot of time. Just a couple minutes on it. And that's what we're looking like. Big difference. Okay, now we got this other funky blade. And that's what that one looks like. So I'll work on this, and then got this one here. That's what that looks like. Alrighty. So I'll do one on camera here real quick and one off camera. Well, that's a funky blade. Can't get over it. Black stuff is coming right off, isn't it? Okay, here's our initial pass. And now I'll do number 2. Okay, initial pass on both of these secondary blades. And they're looking pretty fantastic. They are going to clean up very nicely. Alright, let's touch up the bolsters. Well, we got our liner lock there. You can see the bolster here and the bolster there. And they're both pretty similar. There and there. So I'll show you on one and then do the other off camera. We'll just keep moving right along here. I'll bet you this shines up very nicely. This rubbing compound does a good job of just initially getting rid of all the dirt and grime, crud on it. So that then when you go to your polish, you're just polishing steel. You're not working through all the extra grime and stuff on it. What a difference. What a difference. Okay, I'll do number 2. Okay, let's just do a little recap here after my initial cleaning. See the bolsters there? Look pretty clean. Our back springs. Big, huge difference already. And I just wanted to show you this, because I'm going to work on both of these off camera and clean them up just a little more, but just kind of a little recap here. One of the reasons I don't show the entire cleaning process with the Dremel is it's very uncomfortable. You're in an unnatural position reaching around the tripod and trying to clean, and it gets kind of uncomfortable. So it's nice to be able to not have the camera in the way and the tripod in the way, and I can do a little better cleaning on them. But as you can see, round 1 is complete and they're both looking good. Well, let's just see where we stand here. I worked on these blades just a little bit, and this is what we're looking like now. The bolster, they're cleaning right up. Now you see how that blade, that steel's blemished. I don't think I'll get those blemishes out, but there's definitely no rust. They're definitely clean and shiny, and I haven't used any polish on it yet. This is all just from the rubbing compound. And you can see our back springs looking very nice. There we go. Now we just need to do some touching up. And some of the things we can touch up on, well, let's take this blade here first. Let me just show you this. So we look at the back of the blade, the top of the blade there, that spine, and I think this is like 600 grit. I can't tell. Just an old piece of sandpaper I've been using. But you can just take some light sandpaper and sand on it like that. And you can clean the backs of the blades off, or the spines, I guess you would say. See how it just shines it, cleans it right up. And it don't have to be perfect, but looks a lot cleaner that way, don't it? Focus, there we go. These are just some of the little touches you can put on here. Shines it and cleans it. Just takes a second here. See there? Now, a lot of times these clevises or the bales, they get all rusty and everything, but these are nice and clean and shiny still. Don't have to worry about those. Now let's open it up here. And we look down into the channels. And the channels on both of these knives are pretty clean. There's a little bit of stuff down in there. But let's say there was some pocket lint or anything like that. You can take one of these little cleaning pads, small screwdriver, wipe down through there. See if you get anything out. A little bit of dirt. Is that dirt? Scrape down in there just a little bit. Nope, these things are actually very clean. You can check this area right here. But again, it all looks very clean. Now, on a lot of knives, this back spring will raise up, and you can see if the back spring's dirty or anything. Really, they don't really raise up on this one. Nice half stops there. If you want to, on this brass, you can see that brass is a little dirty. Again, some really light sandpaper. Just rub on it lightly. Like that. See how that cleaned that up? And then you could probably take a Q-tip or something if you really wanted to. They're kind of hard to clean, but use a Q-tip. Actually, this will reach down in there a little ways. A little of that rubbing compound on there. And you can get that brass to shine up. See that stuff that's coming off? See the difference in the brass there. Gets it all nice and shiny. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, right down in here, it's so close, it's hard to get the polishing pad down in there. So I've got a little brass brush here somewhere. Oh, here we go. I guess it's a little steel brush, but little attachment. It's getting worn down pretty good. It doesn't take long on these little brushes to wear down. But on these tanks, you can see right down in there how it's dirty down in there. Sometimes you can just take your little wire brush here, attachment, just touch that up a little bit. So it cleans that off. And you do want to make sure they're cleaned off, because that does affect sometimes how well your blade opens and closes. And if you get rust or something down in there, something like that. I wouldn't use this on a polished blade, like a mirror polish or something. It will scratch it, but that little touching up down in the tangs won't hurt it any. And let's see, what else do we got? This area right down in here, a lot of times stuff gathers down in here and rusts down in there, but these are very clean. So I'm just going to touch these up. They don't need a whole lot. I'm just going to touch these up just a little bit, and then we'll throw her in the sonic cleaner. Well, we got the ultrasonic cleaner out. Got some warm or hot or warm water in there. Throw just a bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid down there. I don't pre-measure, just dump some in there. Put our basket in. And we take a look at the knives here. They are in pretty good condition. I don't expect the water to be too dirty. So I do leave the blades open a little bit. Hopefully anything that's in there will boil out a little bit easier that way. So we're going to give it 5 minutes here in the ultrasonic cleaner. And we'll check our results here in a minute and then throw it in some mineral oil. Well, what do you think our results are going to be here? We went in there for 5 minutes. Well, the water's a little bit cloudy. I don't see a whole lot of stuff down on the bottom. There's some stuff. Well, yeah, there is. Now that I look, more down there than what I thought. See down in there, stuff come out onto the bottom. Set this back a little ways. Pull our knives out. And I just want to wipe them off now and get them right into the mineral oil, because we've got rid of all the rust. You can see we're wiping some dirt off of there. Maybe some of that extra rubbing compound was on there. Trying to dry them off. See there, getting some stuff off. And we want to get them right down here into this oil, don't we? So here's one. And let's see what we got here. This one was pretty clean to start with. Yep. Get extra water out of there. Okay, let's let them soak. Cross your fingers, everybody. I always hope after a good soak we restore some of the walk and talk to them. And let's hope that's the case with these. Well, let's take a look here after some soaking in the mineral oil. And folks, I just think these things came out looking fantastic. I don't even really think that I need to use any polish on these. We can see a little bit of a gap here. I don't know if it came that way or it developed a little gap through use. But just look at this. These look wonderful. And yes, I could do some more polishing on the blades, but you know, they're work knives. But I think they came out looking really good. There's no rust on them. Now the walk and talk, there's our half stop. And we got just a little bit of snap. Not very good, but we didn't have any snap before, so the mineral oil did its trick there. Take a look at this funny blade here. All nice and clean. There's a few little blemishes on them yet. But again, the rust is gone. It's a fully functional knife. And a little bit of snap there. Now you can see the fingerprints. The mineral oil will leave a little film so you can just keep buffing on it. It'll clean it up. But again, it's functional. Whoops. Use our liner lock. Well, let's look down inside. See down in there? Nice and clean down in there. I did get a little bit of stuff out. But here's this one here. Again, looking very nice. Rub a little bit of that film off again. You get your fingerprints on them so easy. Looking very nice. Both of these blades. Our walk and talk. And our half stop. A little bit of a snap there. Of course, this one did have some snap when we started, I believe. Clean that one off a little bit. Nice snap into that liner lock. Half stop. Just a little snap. Nothing terrific. So there we go. Now, there's one more thing I want to do here. You'll notice here on this one, there's that blade is not proud. But we're going to take a look at this other one here. And we can tell that this one has been sharpened. See the difference in the blade there? And when we close the blade on this one, we can see we're just a little bit proud right there. Just a little bit. So what we can do here is carefully and slowly file this kick down just a little bit. And we'll see if we can get rid of the proudness. So I'm just going to take my file here. And you want to go slowly. Now I can use the stone on the Dremel, but you got to be careful. You don't want to grind down too fast. It's just like cutting a board. You know, measure twice and cut once. So you don't want to go too far. So then you just keep checking, and you can see we haven't gained much yet. So that's what I'm going to continue to do, is just file on this, and I'll check periodically to make sure I haven't gone too far. The good thing on these hawk bill blades is your nail nick is way up here. On just like a regular knife blade, you got to be careful because you can't grind so much kick off that it hides your nail nick. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do here for a minute or so. Well, I said I wasn't going to use the Dremel, but I ended up using it. This little stone here, I went very carefully. This was some tough metal. Usually the kicks are not that hard to file down, but took a little bit on this one. I went very gently and very slowly with that stone. And as you can see, it's no longer proud. Now on this one, you could always go down a little bit more if you had to, but I think this is good enough for now. You don't want to take off any more than what you have to. So, what do you think, folks? I think these knives came out wonderful. I want to thank Jason once again for sending me these wonderful knives. And make sure and check out the playlist down there in the bottom right-hand corner. And until next time, have a very delightful day.